I alerted you to earlier reports of seismic events taking place inside the senior ranks of the Chinese army and the Communist Party more broadly. I want to return to them with an expert in this area, given the likely relevance this issue has to Taiwan. As we've learned, China's top general, Zhang Zhujia, a close ally of President Xi, is under investigation with accusations that he leaked nuclear secrets to the Americans. Now, what's notable is that this follows a trend of top Chinese military officials that have either been expelled or detained under investigation in recent years. Now, such is the grip of power by Xi. This is a big tally now. Joining me for his analysis on what this might mean, Senior Fellow at the Hudson Institute on Defence Strategy, John Lee. John, welcome. I say what this might mean because we're all sort of China watchers at the moment. You're a peak watcher, if I could call you that, a bit of an expert. So I'm hoping you've got more advice for us than most analysts. But given these allegations, let's start there. What do we know about them? How credible are they? And if he was leaking nuclear secrets, is this about as big as it gets?
Well, we know very little because the CCP doesn't tell us much, but I'm sceptical this is about leaking nuclear secrets because think about it, if the most senior officer in a PLA was truly leaking nuclear secrets to the United States, they wouldn't really bother to also charge him with graft and discipline issues. I think this is very much about Xi grabbing power. If you look at the groups that are trying to constrain Xi, they are senior PLA officers, they are princelings, and General Yu Xi is a princeling as well as an officer, and they are political elders. President Xi has got rid of millions of officials in the last few years. So for me, this is just simply the most senior one, but obviously very significant.
Okay, what then does that purge? You speak of millions inside the machine, but I mean, I've flashed a whole lot of faces up there on the screen, very senior players in military ranks, official ranks. What does this purge tell you, given the proximity of the Taiwan issue and given Xi's age?
It tells me a couple of things. The first thing is Xi is more intent on personal political power than he is on state capacity. If you go back to October 2023, the 20th Party Congress, they unveiled the Central Military Commission, that is the peak body that would decide on any invasion of Taiwan. Of those 7 members in 2023, only 3 are left. So Xi has purged 4 of them. He's got himself and 2 party loyalists. The President Yu Xi, he is the only one in the CMC who has had wartime experience going back to 1979. So the first thing you can say is Xi cares more about preserving his own unfettered political power than he does about state capacity. But the second thing, and I wouldn't rest easy, is this, that if you remove those constraints, the theory is that, and I think this is the credible theory, Xi's the one that wants to move ahead to potentially use force in Taiwan. It's those other groups that want to hold him back. So if he gets rid of those other vectors of power, if Xi has untrammeled power in the medium term, I think that's actually a more dangerous situation.
And what about reports are of debates inside Taiwan, whether they're better to fight China, should it come to that, or basically acquiesce?
Well, like any country, you've got to control the things you can control, and Taiwan has agency. Taiwan hasn't done what it needs to do, not just in terms of the amount of defence spending, but changing its military posture, buying weapons that would make it more difficult to invade, and also having a decent civilian defence program, a real one that would cause Beijing to pause. If Taiwan doesn't do all those things, then you actually increase the chance that Beijing will be tempted to use force. So the ball is in Taiwan's court. There is agency there in Taipei. It depends whether they want to use it or not.
And just reminding to people at home, Taiwan has never been a part of the communist Chinese state. This is something I think we always have to remind people, don't we?
Correct. The People's Republic of China, that is China, they like to use the term reunification, But you're correct, Peter. Taiwan has never been part of the PRC, so it's forced integration that Beijing wants. It's not reunification.
All right, John Lee, that's terrific analysis. Thank you. I make that point because I often hear that term used constantly in the media, and I want to make sure we are accurate and you understand what's going on. Thank you, John.